let's talk about pink. And yes, I already know what you're gonna say. I grew a beard. So we're gonna rank every single pink alternate costume that is in Super Smash Bros. Ultimate as of today. Of course, we have more costumes and more characters coming, but for now, we are going to talk about the ones that are currently in the game. By the way, do you like my shirt? Because you should check out what it says on the back. All right, let's jump in with all of these pink boys and girls. I'm gonna start with Captain Falcon, and I'm gonna put him in S tier. I'm gonna put him there because I think he's the quintessential pink costume. It's got pink and white, but he was the first one. I don't think anybody besides, I guess, Kirby and Jigglypuff in Smash 64 had a pink alternate, and they don't count because they're pink in the first place. So Captain Falcon set the standard. He is the quintessential pink boy, and so he is gonna go in the S tier. Then we gotta put some of the obvious ones in S tier. We gotta put Donkey Kong up there. We gotta put King K. Rool up there. I mean, they're just perfect as they are, entirely pink. Come on, Cotton Candy Donkey Kong, Cotton Candy King K. Rool, they are just perfect as giant pink menacing monsters. So they're S tier for sure as well. Okay, next we'll do Banjo. I'm gonna put him in A tier, and I know that seems like a sin, especially coming from me, a Banjo main and a pink person, but I just don't love what they did with Kazooie. It didn't change very much about her. She just turned slightly orange. I'm not even mad that they didn't make her pink too. I just wish that there was more of a difference. Like, the other ones all have different Kazooie colors. This one is just barely changed. And I know it's referencing Mumbo Jumbo, but I just wish Kazooie looked different. Mario said trans rights, S tier. I'm gonna put Daisy in B tier. I love that this is a reference to Peach in Smash, because Peach, for all of the previous games, had a Daisy recolor, so now Daisy gets a Peach one. She gets her revenge for Daisy stealing her look. But Daisy just actually has better colors than the pink one. The red and black one or the blue and purple one, those ones I think are just better than this pink one. So I'm gonna put it in B tier for Daisy, and the first B tier of this list. But I guess Mewtwo can join her in B tier. I kinda like this pink color, but it looks almost orange to me at times. You can't even tell from this little picture that I have in the tier maker. You have to look at the full thing to be able to tell that this is a pink costume in the first place, so it can go in B tier. I like that it's a retro reference because Mewtwo was more on the pink side back in the first generation of Pokemon, but it doesn't scream to me as a great pink costume. King DDD can probably go in A tier as well. He's super, super vibrant, and he gets the cool stars along his belt. So I really like this different skin. I like how all of his belts really get different designs on them for each color. So I really like just kind of all of DDD's colors, but pink definitely is a very strong one in my opinion. Not enough to be S tier, but definitely a strong A tier. I think Inkling is probably C tier. I just don't love that the hat covers so much, and the hat doesn't even match the color of the Inkling. And I just am not a fan of the gear this Inkling has. If I were to include the schoolgirl Inkling, which I didn't because a lot of you yelled at me in my last ranking video that this was a purple costume instead of a pink costume, where I think we're probably 50-50. It's kind of pinkish purple. I could see both arguments, but I didn't include it. I think that one would probably be B tier, but for this pink costume, I definitely just I'm just not a fan of it. I put it in C tier. Wario said trans rights. He is also in S tier. Meta Knight's a cool character because he has two pink alts. The first is from Kirby Air Ride, and it turns him sort of the color of Kirby in the same way that Kirby has turned into the color of Meta Knight. And the other one is, of course, a reference to Galactonite, one of the bosses from the Kirby games. But I think for Galactonite, he'll probably be A tier. I really like that this is a reference to an actual boss, and they actually went ahead and, in Smash Ultimate anyway, made the mask match Galactonite's mask, where before it was just simply a recolor and his mask stayed the same. And I'm also gonna put this pink one in A tier. I just really like it. I personally play the actual pink one rather than Galactonite, but both of them are very cool, and I really like both of the designs and the way that they were put in Smash Ultimate. Roy can go in B tier. I'm not super against him, and I think he's a decent Koopaling, but compared to Wendy, she is gonna go all the way up to S tier. You know she's best girl. Wendy O. Koopa is the greatest character in Smash. I think I'm gonna do another power gap. Wait, I gotta insert another row here. Add row below. We're We're gonna do another power gap because, wait, this should be pink. Wait, I'm gonna make that pink. Okay. There we go, perfect. This one's gonna be power gap. And then we're gonna have Shulk tier because Shulk's dude, Shulk's pink costume is horrible. Like, as far as actual pink goes, I think it's good. The problem is his hair. In Smash 4, this costume was really cool, but in Smash Ultimate, they made all of Shulk's costumes have his hair match the color that they're referencing, and now he just looks like an old granny. I don't love this costume now that he has the pink hair. I mean, I still play it, but I'm not happy about it. I am not happy about it. I wish that it was just maybe a different shade. It just looks weird on Shulk, that gray hair. Every other color hair he has looks fine, but for some reason the gray hair, it screams DeviantArt OC, I guess. I don't know. It's very strange. And in that same regard, I think Simon is going to go with him into the Shulk tier. Not only because his hair is the exact same, but it looks weird on Simon. I don't know. The gray hair really throws off this pink alt for me. I will play as it, but I will more likely play as Richter than I will as Simon because I don't like this costume, and Richter has a better pink alt, if you could even call it that, which we may as well talk about Richter now. He's got a white alt with pink trimmings, and I think we'll put that in, it's either C or B. I guess we'll put it in C tier, because I don't even consider this really a pink alt, because it is like 99% white, and then that other 1% is just pink trimming on the collar and his sleeves and stuff. So I think it'll be C tier as a pink costume. Now, it's a really cool costume and I really like it. Just in comparison to the other pink costumes, I just think it's probably C tier for me. Kirby's adorable. I'll put him in A tier only because this isn't an alternate costume of any kind. It's literally just how he looks. And I kind of keep the S tier for like good costumes, although I guess Wendy kind of ruins that because she's not a costume. But she is just the best, so I don't have to worry about that. So I'll put Kirby in A tier. Just know that that's not a slight on Kirby. I really like Kirby's pink design. Okay, of course I always use it, so I don't have to. I'm not defending myself against you. Sonic's I'm gonna put in C tier too. I'm not a super big fan of it. I really wish that whoever is forcing Smash to not give Sonic more than just blue fur would like allow them to, you know what I mean? Like all of them are just different shades of blue, or they're white or black. So I just wish he could have different colors. He could probably shine much better if he had actual different fur, but you know, we get what we get, and Sonic is probably in C tier. Definitely not Power Gap tier or Shulk tier, but he's definitely down here in the C tier, I would say. And speaking of which, I added a new D tier because in the same vein, Pac-Man has a terrible costume. He's not Shulk tier, okay? I don't think he's super Omega Gross Ugly, but it's just barely a costume. He is 90% yellow, and then just his sleeves and stuff change pink. Like if you put all the if you're actually playing in the game and like there are 3 Pac-Man on screen, you're gonna have a hard time telling which one is different. It's just not that distinguished, and I'm just not a fan of it. So D tier for me, just because whoever is deciding Pac-Man's colors just needs to be brave and make him an actual different color. All right, I'll put Palutena in C tier too, because I hate that her hair is so much of her body, but it doesn't change any color. So a lot of the colors you can't really see the difference on. If she had different hair per every costume, which is kind of the opposite of Shulk's problem. Shulk's hair is too drastic, but if she even got a different tint of hair, that would be really cool. Unfortunately, she does not, so she's gonna be down here in C tier. She'd probably be higher, like B or A tier, if she got like pink hair or something, but for now, C tier. Gotta be C tier. I'll put Luigi and Dr. Mario in B tier. They're both pretty standard paint costumes. I'm not super attached to them, but I do like them. It's just there's nothing about them that gives me that little extra like, oh, I really like that one. So they're both in B tier for me. They're solid picks for sure. Ivysaur I think is D tier as well. I like that the bulb changes to be pink, but the problem is the body doesn't really match the rest of the Pokemon trainer. Both the shell for Squirtle and the just the whole body, I guess, for Charizard both go pink, but for some reason Ivysaur turns purple. Like Squirtle basically stays the same. Squirtle can probably go in I put C tier, and Charizard probably in A tier. But Bulbasaur or Ivysaur just kind of changes to purple for some reason. I don't understand why they did that. There's no real reference there, and it's just meant to, like, their costumes are meant to design and match Charizard because Charizard inherited all of the colors from Smash 4. But for some reason they made it Ivysaur purple, like, or purplish blue. It seems very strange to me. I'm not a super big fan of Ivysaur's costume. Squirtle and Charizard both are decent, but Ivysaur, I would definitely go back to the drawing board on that one. I think I put Peach in A tier. Again, it would be S tier if this was an alternate costume for her, but it's just her default appearance, so I think A tier is a good spot for her, but I just love Princess Peach's actual design and the colors that she uses, so A tier for sure. Diddy Kong I think can go in B tier, again because not all of him is pink, only part of him, just his clothes honestly, and the rest is yellow, but it's a good reference to Dixie Kong, so I think that it's better than, you know, characters like this where not a lot of them changes, but because he has a reference and that's why it is the way that it is, I think that, you know, he gets bumped up one. Ice Climbers I think will go in C tier as well. I don't really have a reason for this one. I'm just not super in love with this costume, and there's no other pink options throughout the rest of their costumes, so this one involves pink, but it's not super involved, so, you know, we'll do C tier. I think that's reasonable. Greninja can go in A tier, I think. I like that it's pretty reasonably a reference to Lickitung, and I do like the color scheme, so I'll put it in A tier. And then Corrin, I think, is absolutely in S tier. I think this is objectively one of the best pink costumes in the game, on top of being Corrin's best costume, both for the males and females. I think this is just the best one, so that one definitely belongs in S tier in my opinion. Little Mac can go in A tier as well. I like that it's a full alternate costume, as well as the fact that it's pink and a reference to, you know, his actual games. I don't know what someone just like burned rubber. I don't like it enough though to put it fully in S tier, but I think A tier is a solid compromise. It's definitely one of the stronger outfits in the game. The Pink Villager can go in B tier. I don't really have a reason for this. I just kind of feel like that's where it should belong, in B tier, so I'll put it there. And then Piranha Plant can probably go in B tier as well. You know, just kind of run-of-the-mill average costumes that are pink. Nothing super fantastic about them, they just are the way they are, and so I think that's a pretty good middle ground as B tier. I think Pit should probably go in C tier. If it was Smash 4 and he still had his pink wings, then probably it would go in B or A tier, but he got those blue wings for some reason because they combined costumes, and I just don't like it. I just, as a costume, I guess it's okay, but I just am not a super big fan of the pink costume getting blue wings. It kind of rubs me the wrong way as a pink costume connoisseur. So C tier I think is where I think I would put it. Maybe if there was a B- tier, I would put it B-. I'll put it at the head of C tier because I think it's high C, low B, but I don't want to add another little row here. So I think high C, low B is probably the best place to put this costume in my opinion. I'll put Alf's Brittany costume in B tier as well. I like that it's a reference to one of his fellow travelers in Pikmin 3, one of the 3 main characters, but I don't really like it enough to put it in A tier. What I do like enough, I think, is the Jigglypuff one, not only because it's a pink costume, but also because it's a reference to Smash 64's team colors. They just tweaked it a little bit to make it pink instead of full-on red. I could have included every single one of Jigglypuff's costumes here because all of her is pink, every single one of her costumes, but I decided not to because I felt like that would really just be like peppering Jigglypuff in everywhere for no real reason. So I just picked the one that was actually just objectively the pink costume and kind of ignored the rest. We're down to the last few here. I think I'm going to put this in S tier for Young Link. I really like this costume. It just kind of looks really cool on him, both in the render and in gameplay. And maybe that's my bias because I do like to play a little bit of Young Link, but I just really like that costume. I don't really have a reason for this one. I just really like it. Dark Samus is probably D tier. I even hesitated adding this to the list in the first place because I just didn't really feel like this was much of a pink costume, but I know that someone would say, you forgot Dark Samus if I didn't include it. It is more of a red costume with lots of pink accents. So I would say maybe it's a 50-50 red and pink. But as far as an actual pink tier list goes, that one definitely is lower on the list. I wish they had done something different with it. Like, I like the design just from a pink standpoint. It's really not amazing. So that's where I stand on Dark Samus. Normal Samus can definitely go up here in the A tier. I love that costume. It has been one of my favorites since it's been in the game, since I believe it's been in the game since Smash 64. If not then Melee. But yeah, I've always liked that one. That's always a very high choice on my Samus tier list. So I definitely on A tier for sure. You can't really tell it from this icon, but this is the default Zelda because that is the one that's pink. I really love this design. It's gonna go in S tier for me, and it's almost entirely just because of Zelda's like actual design. There was one that was close to pink in her recolors, but I thought it really was more on the purple side, so I didn't include it. But as far as Zelda goes, I love this design, and I like the pink and white combination, even though that's her default appearance. I'm kind of breaking my own rules here, but you know what? It's my video. I can do what I want. For Robin, I think we'll go A tier. I really like this costume. I just don't like it enough to bump it up to S, you know what I mean? Like for Corrin's, for example, they kind of have the same energy, but I don't know, maybe it's the shade or maybe it's Corrin's design. I don't know, but I like Corrin's a bit more than Robin's, but this is definitely a very strong costume, so I'm definitely on board with this costume, and I like it a lot. Now, moving from Robin to Rob, I think Rob also goes in A tier. I don't know if it's the shade for this one. I really like this costume. It turns him all pink, and if I recall, it's a reference to one of the pink consoles. But I just really like this costume, and I'm not gonna defend it. I just like it. It goes in A tier. I'm looking at the rest of these, and honestly, I would put them all in A tier probably. I like Rosalina's, I think is very good. Roy's, I think is very good. Isabelle's pretty good, you know. It's not. Oh no. Okay. It's super. You know what? I'll put Isabelle B tier. I love Isabelle as a whole, but as the pink costume goes, it could be a little bit better. There are different. I think the skirt is not entirely pink. So it could definitely go. Wait, why did these disappear? Oh no. Okay, Shulk tier can stay Shulk tier. Wolf I really like, so that'll go in A tier. And Yoshi I think might be S tier. Yoshi is S tier. That's all I gotta say. That is my pink tier list. My official pink tier list, including the terrible Shulk tier, the D tier where they're barely pink, and then the rest. You can see that I'm pretty favored towards all of the pink costumes, and I'm not really against any of them. Just the ones that are, you know, barely pink, but the game calls them pink. So that's my tier list. Let me know what you think. Let me know how I made you mad down in the comments below of this video, because I know I made someone mad by putting some character down in B tier or lower. So let me know how mad I made you down in the comments. If you guys enjoyed this video, please be sure to hit the like button. If you're new, be sure to subscribe. I'll see you guys next time. Have an awesome day.